Hey Capricorn, welcome to your 2020 year ahead reading. I'm starting with the Fountain Tarot deck for you, and we'll kind of go month by month. So first up in January we have the Ten of Coins, and then in February we have the Six of Swords, and then in March we have the Three of Cups. Then we have the Ten of Wands in reverse for April. And then we're moving to the Hangman upright in May. And then we have for you the Four of Wands in June. So we'll start with the first half of the year and then we'll move to the second half of 2020. So starting us off, we have the Ten of Coins. And the Ten of Coins, I feel like it's possible that you're starting off 2020 receiving some abundance for everything that you've done in 2019 and even the whole past decade. That kind of, you're just starting off on this really strong note of kind of having some recognition or kind of like something new coming in, like a new opportunity to just like start your new decade off with like kind of this whole, like the whole new chapter. It's like beginning, and it's like you having cultivated the abundance that you like laid the groundwork for all in the past. But even if you're not seeing immediate results or kind of like a new job offer coming in, for example, like even if it's not exactly playing out like that, I feel like you're still kind of getting a sense of like future vision of seeing how you're building and manifesting your abundance here, and that you're kind of like, I think it's just a clarity. It's like kind of that you have you have a lot of confidence going into 2020 because it's like, you know what you need to do to continue to build this foundation of success and happiness and stability for yourself. So it just feels like you're coming into the year with like a lot of clarity, and it's like a lot of hard work that's like already paid off. So again, that could be hard work paying off in like the material external world with like some kind of result or some kind of acknowledgement or some kind of like new boon. But it could also just be that your hard work of like cultivating your inner landscape is becoming so bountiful and fruitful that even if your external world isn't immediate reflecting it, you just are starting off the year with a sense of like, this is my Ten of Coins year. Like, I know my Ten of Coins is here right now, either literally or in the sense of like it's here right now and it's coming into being and going to trickle in throughout the rest of the year. And then in February we have the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords is a little bit more like a moving on from something that was kind of shitty and not working for you. It kind of feels to me like being set free a little bit, and there might be a little bit of sadness with this being set free, just because like any change, sometimes we like require like it's there's a grieving process, but I really feel like you're moving into smoother waters, and it's kind of like whatever this change or this like thing you're letting go of, it feels like a conscious choice you're making where you're like, you know, you're initiating the change, you're getting in the boat and moving on, like you're the one who's like paddling. So it's not kind of like it, I mean, because it's just like you can move on and let go from things in a tower kind of moment scenario where it's like all falling apart, but this feels more like kind of you've reached your breaking point and you've had enough of what wasn't working and you're ready to kind of start anew, which is totally evident with March and the Three of Cups. It feels like this change right here between February and March is actually happening pretty quickly. It feels like kind of like February is, it's like, so yeah, like you started out the year being kind of like confident, and maybe part of your confidence and like the knowing what you need to build your success and happiness is like, then that's like what you're doing in February is you're kind of like, all right, well, I know to like keep cultivating this success that I, especially as a Capricorn, holy shit, I mean, this is so important to you. This is kind of like what your MO is. It's you and your mountaintop and the one you're trying to get to the top to. So I just feel like February, it's like, yeah, it's like just like a transitional month into this energy. So February, it might be like a little bit, kind of like a little bit sadder, maybe energy a little bit. But it's also the like letting go is super opening everything up into being like super fucking cool for the rest of the year. So we have the Three of Cups in March, and the Three of Cups in March feels very much like just really getting to party and like hang out with people and like feel like you belong and just feel kind of like a community. And I don't really know that you've had that in a while, Capricorn, so to really be able to bask in this energy, it's sort of like it just feels brand new, especially since you moved on from, like, this could be like, for example, I'm not saying this is exactly what'll happen, but it's kind of like in February, like around Valentine's Day, you break up with someone and that's shitty, but you're kind of like ready for it too. And then in March, you're ready to just kind of get out there and like start meeting new people and like have a good time. And so I guess what I'm just trying to like emphasize with the first 3 months of the year is just that it is big transitions and that might bring up feelings, but I think it's all really positive and that you're kind of like flowing with it pretty easily and that it's like kind of something that you've decided upon. In April, we have the Ten of Wands, which is in reverse though. So it kind of feels like that your tendency, especially as a Capricorn, I mean, you're a workhorse, right? So like it's easy for you to kind of take on the burdens of the world and of yourself, to kind of like put pressure on yourself. And I think in April, you're really letting go of that, like where you're, yeah, I think you're kind of like just catching yourself in the ways in which you're like putting too much pressure and too many responsibilities on yourself, and you're learning more just kind of about how to create more space for yourself and kind of take on less, because this feels like the whole year really is about this Ten of Coins, right? So whether it's like you're stepping into the new career right off the bat or you're building the new career, it's like as you're in this career kind of like mode of like leveling up, I think you're understanding as part of your leveling up that you need to like delegate, or you need to take time for rest, or you need to create space for yourself, or like kind of have a little bit of balance. So I feel like April is just kind of like, because April's also the beginning of the astrological new year with Aries. So we're starting the new year here with your season, Capricorn, but like here in April, you're kind of like getting another new year you're getting another cycle beginning. So it's just kind of the like, okay, what can I change? Like, what can I change a little bit about my work style so that I can like work more efficiently and have like a happier life and do better work? Because when you're stressed out and like, it's like kind of the whole notion of like, it's better to do a couple things well than like everything shitty. And then May, I feel like as part of that work in April, of like you realizing like, oh my god, I took on too much, like I tried to do too much too soon, too quickly, I tried to adjust to this new beginning, maybe I just kind of got overly ambitious or something. So then like with the Hangman energy in May, it's just sort of like you chilling out, taking a respite. I really honestly think this might be you kind of like going on a vacation and kind of like checking out from a little bit of like the grind. Not that your grind is never important to you, or that it's like kind of not always like in the back of your mind, because like of course it is, you're a Capricorn, but I think you're really, having gone through April, understanding the importance of kind of like rebooting your perspective and rebooting your life and like kind of giving yourself a fresh start. And so I feel like you're kind of actively choosing to find a way to shift your perspective and, like, kind of get a bit of clarity and peace and rest. That's, like, what the Hangman is. So May feels a little bit kind of like taking a time out to go on vacation, and whether it's a literal vacation, a staycation, or just even kind of like, you know, having a cozy weekend at home, it doesn't really matter as much as it's just about you kind of like really going inward and like helping your own perspective shift. And then that obviously pays off because in June, you have the Four of Wands, which is like this stability, this beautiful energy of kind of like having a really good grasp on everything that you're doing and feeling like everything's kind of like harmonious and feeling like you're really getting to celebrate how good your life is and just getting to celebrate all your accomplishments, celebrating like the path you've been on with this Ten of Coins energy that you started off the year with, and probably like hanging out with some of these friends that you met with in March, or friends that you've had for a long time but are like really getting to like appreciate more. It just feels like there's kind of, this might be a wedding that you're going to, or your own like kind of engagement or something. I don't know exactly because I don't really read tarot that way, but it's more the energy. It just feels kind of like there's a happiness and a groundedness in, and it's like feels very much like it came from you and from your inner work that you did here and here and here. So like the work you did in February and April and May, it's kind of like, yeah, like you're just getting to really feel stable and like getting to, yeah, it just feels very secure, and that like maybe secure and stable in a way it really just hasn't been ever. Ever, question mark? I don't know. So that is the first half of the year for you, and then I'd love to just sort of close it out with the second half. So we'll shuffle, talking about the first half of the year is awesome for you. It just really feels like you're like kind of growing up a little bit, and it doesn't matter how old you are. It's just like you're really kind of incorporating like literally everything you've learned over the past decade, and within those months, it's just kind of like lessons are clicking into place, and you're really like kind of, I think, manifesting quicker and quicker, and you're just getting like way better grasps on how to handle everything. And I think you're taking yourself actively through like processes of letting go and of like evaluating. So it's kind of like, I feel like life feels like for you, Capricorn, in 2020, less like it's happening to you and more like you're happening to it, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to shuffle these like so, and then we'll pull from the top. So then we have July. Oh, awesome. August, September, October, November, and December. Oh my god, Capricorn! I'm so happy for you and for your 2020. Honestly, it's so fucking great. Oh, look, in July we have the Sun Leo season, and like we just came off of the Four of Wands, so I kind of like, I'm not getting like straight up love vibes, like, you know, we don't have like the Two of Cups or the Lovers or anything, but I just feel like there's so much happiness in the summer. It's like the beginning of the year for you was pretty fun. It sounds like, with a little bit of like challenges and kind of like some like I said, kind of like you were actively taking yourself through a growing process of kind of like cleaning the clutter, so to speak. But in the summer, I really think you're just getting to have a lot of fucking fun, and things are kind of calming down, and there's just really this sense of like just enjoying life. Like it doesn't even matter, to me it doesn't even matter if that is love or career. It's kind of just that you're getting to just appreciate yourself and your life and feeling your power, but feeling kind of like, it's just the stuff life is made of. It's like kind of those moments that like you remember for the rest of your life when you were on top of the world. And you being on top of the world doesn't, again, necessarily have to do with like some external like accomplishment. It just is kind of like you've done such internal work, and it's just like this like payoff. It's like even what you're actively working on is fulfilling. It's just sort of a being able to really enjoy, and it's just like the summer of love. But even if not external like romantic love, just like love in general, love for yourself, love for the world, love for what you do, love for your friends. And I'm sure that is... Oh, okay. It kind of got fucked up. But I'll fix it. Anyway, you're having fun in July and in the summer. July, August, Queen of Coins. This kind of feels like coming back to work after the end of a beautiful summer. And with the Queen of Coins in reverse, I think it's just like kind of... Maybe because the summer was such a high, you know, that there's just a little bit of like coming back down to earth. And it's like not a bad thing in August. It just feels kind of like it's just like a little bit like shifting gears between kind of the honeymoon. It's kind of like, I'm not saying again this is marriage, but just to like use that as a metaphor. It's like if you got married and then like June was the wedding ceremony and then July was the honeymoon. Then August is like coming back home and like trying to like start the marriage like for real this time and like go back to work and all that. And so it's like, it's not bad. It's pretty good. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's just like a little bit of withdrawal from kind of like the drugs of like your happiness. But it's good. Like, I think you're like interested in getting back to work because you are a Capricorn after all. So you are the Queen of Coins. Like, you are this person who's like ready to like kind of get back into the grind. But, you know, it's just sort of like an adjustment in August, and that's fair. September is the Nine of Wands in reverse. The Nine of Wands can be kind of like that whole feeling of like, oh my god, I have more work I have to do. Yeah, it just feels kind of like September honestly feels like it might be the most challenging month of 2020 for you, Capricorn. But I feel like it's challenging in such a way that you're also kind of, as you were in April, it's like kind of like September and April feel a little bit like echoes of one another. But April was about you learning to like take a load off, and I think the Nine of Wands is kind of about you, and especially with it in reverse, it's like trusting your own resilience and your own persistence to like kind of push through any like difficulties. And because it's like it almost feels like a little bit of burnout, but that you're like moving through your burnout. Like, you're learning how to push through burnout. Because like also something I want to say about burnout, and like I think that'll end up relating to this King of Swords in reverse. September, October, I feel like sometimes that our burnout is like kind of being caused by other people, external forces who kind of want us to get burnout. That like people, like kind of like bad energy from kind of people who are jealous of like your Queen of Coins abundance and that Ten of Coins that you got earlier. So, I mean, the King of Swords in reverse is like kind of like an asshole guy, I think, who's like a little bit like manipulative sometimes, like uses their words poorly. And so I guess I just feel like in September and October, it's like your lessons are really about not letting other people burn you out. Like, finding the strength to move forward. So we have September, October, November. It feels like this whole period is really these challenges in September and in October with like whoever you're dealing with are really leading you in November to this piece, like this strength. And what I love about the strength card, and I'm sure I've said this before in other readings, is that it's this woman who's tamed this lion, and like she's the one with the strength, and the lion obviously has the strength of being a lion, but to me strength is much more about being zen. And this is something I'm learning myself now at the beginning of 2020. So it feels like in 2020, and I'm a Capricorn moon, so it feels like we're really solidifying this message of an inner locus of control, because I feel like with the getting stressed out and burnt out and kind of like dealing with like someone who is a little bit challenging and like intentionally kind of like trying to sabotage you vibes, that the challenge is like learning how to speak up and be effective in speaking up. So like not letting anger control you, not being reactive. It's like totally valid to be reactive and to like, I'm not saying you have to be a Zen master all the fucking time, because that's sort of unrealistic and we're human, but I feel like in November, it's like you do have that inner locus of control where like you aren't allowing other people outside of you to burn you out, and you're kind of like just really confident in how you're going to handle things. It's like, I feel like part of the trouble with the energies that are coming up here, September, October, is like, when we are in a reactive place, it's kind of like we're in some way allowing this other shit. We're not allowing, that's such a bad way of putting it. It's not about allowing. It's just, how much power are we giving bullshit to depress us and to like make us feel hopeless and to make us feel like we don't have this power and this strength. I'm just saying, you're coming back to your own inner reserves, your own inner sense of like, I can't be fucked with because I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know that my success doesn't depend on anyone else. I know that I have the Ten of Coins energy with me the whole year. I know that I'm not defined by these forces that are trying to sabotage me. Like they can try to touch me, but they like someone. I follow this woman, Jessa Reed, and she was talking about how like one might consider those kind of like asshole burnout, like the people trying to burn you out, this energy, like if they're parasites, the only real power they have is their ability to like make you think that you don't have any power. So it's kind of like just that you're really learning how to kind of control your reality almost in a deeper way, because you are you're able to let a lot more roll off your back, because you're able to connect with your sense of inner resilience and power and strength. And that's what I mean by Zen, and that's what I mean by taming the lion. It's not that the lion doesn't attack or doesn't like, you know, roar or like scare the shit out of people. It's not that the lion isn't being submissive. It's just the lion is like calculating, like the lion is able to have a game plan and a strategy and kind of the confidence of knowing that they're up against like hyenas or something. I hope this is making sense. So I just feel like November is really you coming into your own and kind of getting the victory from all the shit that happened in September and October. And then, last but not least, we end off 2020 with the Chariot, which is such a perfect like mirror ending for the beginning of the year with the Ten of Coins. I mean, the Chariot is about you moving forward. It's about you really moving into 2021 with, because you got the strength, like you really built up your strength in 2020, and so you're moving forward into 2021 with like nothing can stop you. Like literally, you have so much momentum behind you. You have so much power. You have so much that you continued to build up that it's like the Ten of Coins is your destiny, and it's what you like not like it's just kind of like you're going to reach the top of the mountain, and whether or not you're reaching the top of the mountain in 2020, it's like 2020 is like the year where there is literally no doubt in your mind that it is coming. It is in the works. You coming to the top of the mountain, it's like you're pretty much already there. It's just about you like planting the flag at the top, so to speak, or kind of getting back down almost even to let people know that you got to the top. So, I mean, I don't know if the mountain is always the best example. It's kind of what I end up using for Capricorns, but Chariot energy in December, I just feel like things are coming a little bit full circle where it's like you got it. Like 2020 really does feel like your year, and it feels like your year in such a way where you're coming into success and abundance and happiness because you're really just navigating and understanding yourself better. And as you recognize and love and understand yourself, the world is not going to be able to argue with you, like, because you've nothing to prove. You're just going to be moving. I hope that makes sense. And then last but not least, I thought I would just like give you a little angel, because I like angels. So we'll see what angel kind of like is with you, guiding you in 2020. Oh, okay. The Angel of Care. I am filled with joy as I care for people and things and all of nature. Loving care is the soul touch of light in everything we do. Beyond consciousness of order and balance, when we care for all with which we have been entrusted, there is also an attraction of invisible helpers that begin to cooperate with the success of what we are creating. I read that upside down. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's like especially for like the months that are a little bit more challenging, which sounded like February, April, September, and October, that like you can really lean on. And this might also be part of where your strength is coming from. It's just like knowing that you can rely on others, and also that you're there for others, that the work you're doing has a bigger purpose beyond just your own ego and your own self, but that your work and that what you're cultivating and building and like the fights you're fighting and the things you're standing up for are all in the service of a greater good and of caring and of like kind of making the world a better place, and that you do have help from some mysterious spirit world, even if it doesn't always feel like you're connected to it. It's always there and like serving you, and like kind of having that faith and belief in it, because like honestly we can't prove obviously that is the case, but I think when we operate as such, that there is hope and that there is kind of maybe going to be answers or resolutions or vindication, then we feel a little bit more encouraged to keep caring and to let others take care of us, so that we can move through and get to that chariot happy ending of 2020. So that's your reading. I love you, and I'll see you for your January reading. Bye.